My message today is mostly for men. Now, it may apply a little bit to women, but probably 90% this is for the men out there. And I feel really strongly about this, so I've jotted a few notes down. I want to make sure that I touch on some things that I feel quite passionate about. I just want to mention that we as men have been divinely appointed to preside, provide, and protect. As we developed in the womb, the hormones that made us male also hardwired our brains to these three things. And so as we go through life, we almost, without even thinking about it, we are driven to fulfill our role in these areas of presiding, providing, and protecting. We may not even realize how much these three things are really driving our thought processes and the decisions that we make. Well, I think that I have detected a very subtle message that has infiltrated our minds and our hearts and our belief system through generations and through society that is really undermining our ability to do well in presiding, providing, and protecting. So that message is this: that getting help or asking for help is a sign of weakness or a sign of failure. Now, in some degree, with many variations, that message is inside of most of us. If this wasn't true, there wouldn't be that also common joke that we hear all the time about the man, the husband, the father will not stop and ask for directions. He'll drive around and around and around. And hey, I'm not lost. I'm just exploring all the possible routes there is to get there. I'm going to be more equipped and more prepared, right? So this really isn't that much of a problem anymore, this getting directions, because now just about everybody has a GPS. It still kind of is a problem for me because I don't have a GPS in my car, and I haven't really fully embraced technology like most people, and so my wife has to pull something like that up on her iPhone, and I don't even know how to pull that up and make it work. And so, dang it, I still have to ask for help and directions. Even to use the GPS, I have to ask for help. How do you use this GPS? And by the way, isn't using the GPS asking for help? You're just asking for help indirectly. You're not directly involving another person, but there were people that created that, right? And so you're getting their help. It's just a little more indirect and discreet. So I want you to think about the underlying emotion that comes up when it's time to ask for help. What do you notice? What is the feelings and the thoughts that are there behind that situation? You know, whether that's in your job or at home doing maintenance and upkeep or repairs, whatever, those kinds of chores that we get involved with. Is it asking for help with relationships with your children or your spouse? Is it over addictions? And it seems like the more personal the situation is, the more difficult it is to ask for help. You know, it seems like just about everything we do, whatever the task at hand is, we see it in some way as falling under one of those three P's: to preside, provide, or protect. All these things we're doing, somehow we see fitting in those three things. It really becomes quite personal to us. And so really when one of the core value systems to preside, provide, and protect, and everything that we do falls under those categories, when we are in the process of doing something and we start to feel like we're coming up short or we're not accomplishing what we need to, and we need to ask for help, those three P's are a part of us as a man. That's part of what makes us a man. And if we aren't successful in that, we somehow think that if we ask for help, that we're somehow less of a man because we need help with that. Or even worse, that we have failed as a man because we need help. So please, just quick note to women or anyone else who's frustrated dealing with men and our inability to get help when it looks like apparent to everyone else that we need it. It's not just the task at hand that we're concerned about. It's that underlying thing that if we have to get help, we feel like we have failed, that we're less of a man somehow. And that's a hard emotion, a hard message to deal with. But what I'm here to say is, that's all a lie. We need to exterminate that lie and flush it out of our system. So it reminds me of a story back when I was in high school. I loved to play football. My position was cornerback on the defense. I was a defensive back, and so I had that particular area out on the wing of the field. And any play, of course, pass plays, running plays that came to my area that I was responsible for. And we were playing a team that had executed this one play. They had it refined down so well that they were just killing us on it. They were making 8 to 12 yards on a carry with this power sweep. They'd come around, there was 3 blockers in front of the ball carrier, and they would run it right into my area, and I couldn't get it stopped very quick. I was just getting slaughtered. And it took 2 or 3 plays to realize what they were doing, and then a couple more plays before I decided I'm not getting this myself. I'm going to have to ask for help. So I went into the huddle and I explained what I was seeing, and 2 other guys on the team, they quickly, well, yeah, okay, I was kind of seeing that, but I was cut off here and I was stopped there. Now that I know exactly from your perspective what's happening, I can easily ditch this and I can come over here and I can get involved and I can take out a blocker or 2. And yeah, I can get to the ball carrier if there's 1 blocker, maybe even 2, I can slow it down. But 3, that was just impossible for me. I couldn't get through 3 blockers and take down the ball carrier. And so when I got help, our whole team became a stronger unit. We were able to stop that line, or stop that play closer to the line of scrimmage. And again, I heard the analogy of the soldier. Sometimes we feel like soldiers, and we are really battling opposition in this world to fulfill our role to provide, and protect. And when we try to do it alone, see, we were not sent here to do it alone. We were never meant or expected to do it alone. And it's like the soldier out there on the battlefield, and he gets all inspired and he says, I am going to do this, and he runs out into the battle zone alone because he thinks it's his duty to fight alone. No, that never ends well. That reminds me of another war story. We use the David and Goliath story a lot, and we make that an analogy for a lot of things in our lives. We all have our Goliaths to contend with, right? And the story is that David went out there and with his sling and his stone, one strap of leather with a pocket in it and 1 little stone, he defeated the Goliath. Most of us, we tell the story and it ends right there. But that's not where the story ends. There was a whole army behind Goliath, and there was a whole army behind David. And after David took down Goliath, the Philistine army fled as the Israelite army chased them completely out of their lands. The battle wasn't over until the rest of the enemy was completely out of the borders of their lands. So even in that, so David, yes, 90% David, but still, he was not alone. He had the entire army at his back. So I am just here to encourage all of you to think about that and see if this message is not hurting your ability to provide, and protect. We were not meant to do it alone. The strongest, wisest men become stronger and wiser when they know when to align with the team and get help. So we need to exterminate that lie and flush it out of us and connect with the truth. The truth is, we are stronger together than alone. And there are times when we become stronger. We fill our role as men better when we're getting help than trying to do it alone. So I just encourage you to think about that. Get rid of that lie. connect with the truth and spread this truth to others. Share your comments and share this message with others. I think we all need to know that we're in this together. We've got our backs. Now, I've got yours, you've got mine. Let's do it together. Be men. Preside, provide, and protect together. And sometimes that means uniting with your wife. She is a big part of why you can fulfill your role. You need her help. I cannot fulfill my role, presiding, providing, and protecting, without the nurturing and caring of my wife.